Alright, so welcome to my channel and thanks for joining. My name is Joe and I will be your host today across this journey. So today we are rediscovering one of my teenage years classic, namely Metal Gear Solid. We can argue it's the original or not, because there was a predating game called Metal Gear Solid made by the same studio, but this is the first a real Metal Gear game that had a very complex scenario and that was popularly distributed along the world. Most of the people discovered Metal Gear with this game, so I think it's fair game to call it the original. So embark with me and discover the story and scenario of Metal Gear Solid. This is a re-upload because I thought that the original video that I made for the first part, the sound was a bit was not on point, so that's a remake, let's say. Sit back and relax, grab a cup of coffee and enjoy the experience.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by Next Generation Special Forces, being led by members of Foxhound. They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You'll have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the president of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound. Your former unit, and one that I was a commander of.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mattis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter. And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound's squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
The man with the same codename as you. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes, this is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
Okay, so now the setting is planted. You kind of understand where this is going. We are going to infiltrate an enemy base. And there is some past stories between the villains and yourself. And also your commander.
Stay alert. He'll be through here. I know it. I'm going to swat down a couple of bothersome flies.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up.
Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the surface, but make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. The frequency is 140.85. When you want to use the codec, push the select button. When we need to contact you, the codec will beep. When you hear that noise, press the select button. The codec's receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
Got it. Okay, I'm ready to go.
Alright, so this is the first impression you get out of Metal Gear. You start off in a submarine base and notice how the credits are still rolling as we've started playing actually. So, this is a very cinematographic way of seeing video games. You will notice it by the placement of cameras, the scenarios, plot twist, everything. So this game is made by a Japanese studio called Konami. They're not beginners. They started off back in the 80s, I believe. You know, with those 8 and 16-bit consoles. So the director of this game is some guy called Hideo Kojima. You probably already heard of him. And some people consider him as a genius. Some other people consider him just like a lunatic Japanese guy, but one thing is sure is that he has somehow put his print over the video game world, that's for sure. So you will see Kojima has a very specific and very unique way of making his video games. He's passionate about cinema. You will see that reflected everywhere. He's passionate also about very complex and dark military secrets and technologies. Most of the stuff that they talk about in the game is actually real and true. But of course, none of the events actually happened. So here the game, all Metal Gears, you can play them as you want. You can play them in a very action oriented and then killing everybody and stuff like that, or you can play them in a very sneaky way. So I will try to do both. So this is the official presentation of our hero, codenamed Solid Snake. And you can tell by the haircut and the general stance that he takes, he looks very, very Japanese. But he will be Europeanized later on.
It's Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
Excellent, Snake. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
How's that sneaking suit working out?
I'm nice and dry, but it's a little hard to move.
Bear with it. It's designed to prevent hypothermia. This is Alaska, you know.
Take it easy, I'm grateful. If it weren't for your suit and your shot, I would have turned into a popsicle out there.
An anti-freezing peptide, Snake. All of the genome soldiers in this exercise are using it.
I see. I'm relieved to hear that. Already tested, huh? By the way, how's the diversionary operation going?
2 F-16s just took off from Galena and are headed your way. The terrorist radar should have already picked them up.
Behind D. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
I have no idea. But it looks like our little diversion got their attention. Now's your best chance to slip in unnoticed. There are only 18 hours left until their deadline. You've got to hurry.
Wow, you must be crazy to fly a hind in this kind of weather.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. I haven't introduced you to yet. This is Mei Ling. She was assigned to us as our visual and data processing specialist. She designed your codec, as well as your Soliton radar system. Contact her if you have any questions about either of them.
Nice to meet you, Snake. It's an honor to speak to a living legend like yourself. What's wrong?
Nothing. I just didn't expect a world-class designer of military technology to be so cute.
You're just flattering me.
No, I'm serious. Well, I know I won't be bored for the next 18 hours.
Come on. I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake. But I'm surprised. You're very frank for a trained killer.
Looks like we both have a lot to learn about each other.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to learning about the man behind the legend. But first, let me explain about your Soliton radar system. The bright dot in the middle is you, Snake. The red dots are your enemies, and the blue cone shape represents their field of vision. Be careful, Snake. The genome soldiers have highly developed senses of hearing and vision due to their gene therapy. Make sure you don't let them see you.
First, I want you to infiltrate the disposal site and look for the DARPA chief.
The DARPA chief was injected with the same GPS transmitting nanomachines as you. He should appear on your radar as a green dot.
Get whatever information you can from him about the terrorists. If he's alive, that is.
Snake, your radar isn't affected by the weather, but if you're discovered by an enemy, you won't be able to use it.
Yes, it gets jammed easily, I'm afraid.
Yes, it's all made from currently existing technology. You won't be able to use it in an area with strong harmonic resonance, so be careful.
We'll be monitoring your movements by radar, so contact us by codec anytime you want.
Got it. I'll call if I'm feeling lonely.
Seriously, Snake, we're here to back you up, so call if you need some information or advice.
I'm also in charge of your mission data. Contact me if you want me to record your current status. My frequency is 140.96. It's a dedicated frequency for saving data. Don't forget it.
Remember, except for your binoculars, you're naked. You need to arm yourself with whatever weapons you can find.
I remember. First, I'm strip searched by Dr. Naomi here, and then all my weapons are taken away. Imagine yourself put in that position.
Well, if you make it back in one piece, maybe I'll let you do a strip search on me.
I'll hold you to that, Doctor. By the way, sorry to disappoint you, but I did manage to smuggle out my smokes.
How did you do that?
In my stomach. Thanks to the shot you gave me that suppressed my stomach acids.
Cigarettes? How are those going to help you?
You never know.
Alright, for your information, I will be playing on an emulator, just because the footage from PlayStation 1 I cannot retrieve it as of yet, just because I don't have a proper analog video card. I also bought the Metal Gear HD collection, but I'm afraid that they put an awful filter over it. So it's looking way better on this emulator because it's smoothing out all the textures and stuff like that.
Surveillance camera?
So it looks way better here in this configuration. Okay, we're off to a great start, guys.
Snake, this is McDonald Miller. It's been a long time.
Master, what are you doing here?
I quit being a drill instructor, so I moved out here for some peace and quiet. I'm in retirement, just like you. Once in a while, I still help train the Alaskan Scouts.
Passing on the skills to a new generation, huh?
Campbell told me about the situation here. I thought I might be of some use.
There's no one I'd rather have in a foxhole than you.
Well, I know lots about survival in a harsh environment. I've lived in Alaska longer than you, so call me if you have any questions about the flora or fauna out here. My frequency is 141.80.
So here you learn that Snake has some kind of a mentor, and you will slowly learn a bit more about his life every time we progress in the story.
I moved the DARPA chief to the cell in the first floor basement.
What about the vent shaft cleaning?
They just opened the vent covers. They're about to start spraying for rats.
First floor basement ventilation shaft.
Shut those covers as soon as they're done spraying. Also, keep your eye on that woman in the cell. Don't get careless now.
Woman in the cell?
Did something happen?
There's an intruder.
Really?
He's already done 3 people.
He's killed 3 people?
Yeah. Say he's using stealth, too.
Stealth? There's an intruder besides me?
Anyway, I want you to increase the security detail on the chief.
Alright, as I told you, Kojima, the guy who directed this video game, he loves plot twists. So you will slowly see more and more fishy stuff and more things that feel out of place. So if you pay attention to every detail, you can I won't say really predict what is going to happen in the game, but you will feel that something is off. Okay, let's just grab this ration over here. So basically a ration gives you life. So you have a life bar over here, and every time you defeat a boss, it will be growing. So you start the game with a very small life bar, and as long as you progress in the game, it will grow bigger and bigger. That's also a way for the game to give you some kind of reward. Okay, is it something here? Looks like it. Thermal goggles will be very useful in the game. Here you see a bit what looks like a military base. For the moment we're just dodging cameras. So let's sneak past those guards. Stayed there, he would have seen me. So let's go around. Looking good. Yes. So first floor, they said. So because of Kojima's obsession with cinema and that kind of scenes, it's
Oh, kinda damn cold. I hate Alaska. Boy, oh boy, that woman is built all right.
so because Kojima's obsession with cinema and the way the scenes are filmed, or how the cameras are placed, how the music is played, and how the music is chosen, he really manages to make a very dense atmosphere in every Metal Gear game, and that's really something that you see throughout all the games. It's really a constant. It's not just a game that you can that you play casually.
Is that a woman? Not him.
Good observation, Snake. And if we try to find out who's that woman...
It looks like the chief is being held in a cell. Find some way to get in there. Hurry up and get him out.
Okay, maybe he'll tell us later.
Snake, the DARPA chief's signal is coming from somewhere in that area. Isn't there some place to drop down? Take a look around in first-person view mode.
Who's that?
I'm here to save you. You're the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, right?
You here to save me, huh? What's your outfit?
I'm the pawn they sent here to save your worthless butt.
Really? It's true. You don't look like one of them. In that case, hurry up and get me out of here.
Slow down. Don't worry. First, I want some information about the terrorists.
The terrorists?
Do they really have the ability to launch a nuke?
What are you talking about?
The terrorists are threatening the White House. They say if they don't accede to their demands, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
Sweet Jesus.
Is it possible?
It's possible. They could launch a nuke.
How do they plan to launch? I thought this place was just for keeping the dismantled warheads. They shouldn't have access to a missile.
What I'm about to tell you is classified information. Okay? We were conducting exercises with a new type of experimental weapon. A weapon that will change the world.
What?
A weapon with the ability to launch a nuclear attack from any place on the face of the Earth. A nuclear-equipped walking battle tank.
Metal Gear. It can't be.
You knew? Metal Gear is one of the most secret black projects. How did you know that?
We've had a couple of run-ins in the past. So that's the reason you were here at this disposal site?
Why else would I come to a godforsaken place like this?
I had heard the Metal Gear project was scrapped.
On the contrary, it's grown into a huge joint project between ArmsTech and ourselves. We were going to use this exercise as raw data and then proceed to mass production. If it hadn't been for the revolution.
Revolution?
Rex has fallen into the hands of terrorists.
Rex?
Metal Gear Rex. The code name for the new Metal Gear prototype. They're probably already finished arming the warhead they plan to use with Rex. These guys are pros. They're all experienced in handling and equipping weapons.
Hey! Shut up in there, will ya?
But I thought that all nuclear warheads were equipped with safety measures. Some kind of detonation code that you have to input.
Oh, you mean PAL? Yes, of course, there is a PAL. It's set up so that you need to input 2 different passwords in order to launch the device.
There are 2 passwords?
Yes. Baker knows one, and I know one.
Baker? The president of ArmsTech?
That's right. Each of us needs to input our password, or there can be no launch. But they found out my password.
You talked?
Psycho Mantis can read people's minds. You can't resist.
Psycho Mantis?
One of the members of Foxhound. He has psychic powers.
This is bad.
It's just a matter of time before they get Baker's too.
If they find out Baker's password...
Yes, they'll be able to launch a nuke anytime. But there is a way to stop the launch.
What?
The card keys.
Card keys?
They were designed by ArmsTech, the system developers, as an emergency override. Even without the passwords, you can just insert the card keys and engage the safety lock.
And if I do that?
Yes. You can stop the launch.
That card key.
So where are the keys?
Baker should have them. Listen, you need 3 card keys. There are 3 different slots to put them in. You need to insert a card into each one of them.
Okay, 3 card keys. Do you know where they might be keeping Baker?
Somewhere in the 2nd floor basement.
2nd floor basement?
I heard the guards say they moved him to an area that has a lot of electronic jamming.
Any other clues?
Yes, they cemented over the entrances, but didn't have enough time to paint them. Why don't you look for the areas where the walls are a different color? Here, take this. It's my ID card. It'll open any level 1 security door. It's called a PAN card. It works together with your body's own electrical field.
Personal area network, huh?
It transmits data using the salts in your body as the transmission medium. As you approach the door's security devices, they'll read the data stored in the card.
And the doors will open automatically. Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Wait a minute.
What is it?
You haven't heard any other way to disarm the PAL, have you? From your bosses or anyone?
No.
Are you sure you haven't heard anything?
I just said no.
So does the White House plan to give in to the terrorists' demands?
That's their problem. It has nothing to do with my orders.
But what about the Pentagon?
Pentagon? What is it?
Hey, what happened?
Dead.
Naomi, the chief. What happened?
I don't know. It looked like a heart attack, but...
A heart attack? No.
Colonel, are you hiding something from me?
Absolutely not. Snake, you've got to understand. This op is security level red. You need the highest security clearance to get access to the complete file.
You want me to believe that you're in charge of this op, but you don't have complete access to the file?
I told you, the Secretary of Defense is in operational control. I'm just here as your support. Snake, we don't have time to debate. Get out of there and find President Baker.
Alright, so now this guy's dead.
Don't move! So you killed the chief, you bastard! Liquid? No, you're not. Don't move!
Is this the first time you ever pointed a gun at a person? Your hands are shaking. Can you shoot me, rookie?
Careful, I'm no rookie.
Liar. That nervous glance, that scared look in your eyes. They're rookie's eyes if I ever saw them. You've never shot a person, am I right?
You talk too much.
You haven't even taken the safety off, rookie.
I told you I'm no rookie!
You're not one of them, are you?
Open that door. You've got a card, don't you?
Why?
So we can get the hell out of here!
Looks like we'll be a little delayed.
What are you doing? Don't think! Shoot!
Yeah, as I was saying, you have multiple ways of playing this game.
What are you
Of
waiting
course,
for? Shoot!
Don't talk to me like a rookie.
some sequences
I'm
you have to
telling
play
you,
them.
shoot!
For instance, this one, you have to kill those guys. You have no choice. You cannot sneak past them. You cannot avoid this scene, basically.
Thanks for the help.
Wait!
So in the cutscenes, you really see the transition between
Who are you?
the original PlayStation graphics and the smoothing made by the emulator.
You fool! You've killed him!
I'm sorry, sir.
His mental shielding was very strong. I could not dive into his mind.
Now we'll never get that detonation code.
Boss, I have a good idea. Good girl. Just like that.
Naomi, I just had some kind of hallucination. Is it from the nanomachines?
No, Snake. The nanomachines are functioning properly.
So what was it?
It must have been psychometric interference coming from Psycho Mantis, Foxhound's psychic. Think of it as a mental feedback loop.
So that was Mantis.
Alright, so now we need to find President Baker. And that will lead us to our first boss encounter. And we also got the level 1 card that the DARPA chief gave us. So there are 6 or 7 level cards to collect throughout the game. So each time you defeat a boss or you find an important person that will help you, you will collect one of those cards, and you will be able to open all the corresponding doors that are locked with the same or inferior number. So the more cards you collect, the more access you have to the different locations of the game. Here, for example, you see there's a level 5 door, and you cannot access it with a level 1 card. So you will only be able to access level 1. Level 1 doors. So as I'm playing with an emulator, I connected the PlayStation 4 controller to my computer. And somehow the emulator does not recognize the analog input of the controller, or does not recognize the directional pad. So the controls are very rough. Directional controls, it's kind of hard to know precisely where we're going. Also, it's a 20 or almost 30-year-old game, so of course the controls are not as precise as today's games. So here the DARPA chief told us to go to the second basement and look for an area that has recently been cemented but not painted. So this looks like it. You can also find it by knocking on the walls. You see normal wall sounds like this, and this one sounds different. So you just take the C4, set it here and circle to detonate it, and then you see it has opened a hole in the wall. So in some areas you cannot use the radar, you will have like this jamming screen instead, and yeah, that also is integrated in the gameplay. So you will have more traps in the jamming areas of the radar. So these are the two walls that you can detonate. And you see there's a level 6 door, and inside here we can see already President Baker. So we'll leave the rest for a following video. Thank you all for joining and watching. See you in part 2.